Okay, I think we are recording. Hello, everybody.
Okay, cool.
Welcome to Adara Live. This gentleman I'm about to introduce you to is a very special individual. We met 13 years ago, which we have just established. We were both doing completely different work, and we connected on that field in the marketing and experiential marketing capacity. And now Hector Johnson is a yogi guide, and now we're connecting on this level. And I am so excited to bring him to all of you because he is just this wealth of knowledge and beauty and love. And he had me in tears in one of his sermons that he's about to share with you. And
Oh my goodness, you're so crazy. In a good way.
Okay, so Hector, we were talking about how the knowing of yourself is truly where the transformation happens. Now tell me how you've come to that knowledge for yourself and how it is that you're working with other people on that journey.
No problem, Adara. Hi, beautifuls listening. It's a pleasure to just join you. Can't be in person for more spatial touching and stuff with that tactile, but definitely socially we are connecting energy-wise because our intentions is for the good and for the better. In a quick nutshell, born into a Roman Catholic family, left that to join Christianity, left Christianity when it didn't make any more sense towards me to say, look, no disrespect to what the components of Christianity represents and the teachings of Christ, which I pretty much still adhere to in a lot of areas of my life. But the whole concept for me personally of there's something wrong with who I was as an entity from the birth of my mother sending me forth into the world and carrying me for the 9 months, give or take, was just wrong for me, and it no longer made sense. And respectfully for other folks who that is their way of belief and seeing the world and viewing it and living daily, I respect that, I honor them because I believe in people. But for me, I got to the place where it's like, there's nothing to fix. I am perfect the way I am. I have lessons to learn, and I'm going to school in this life. And if I listen to the things that are coming up as I go within, which is the knowing yourself, then I begin to adjust myself. I become my own barometer, my own litmus test. I begin to do the work of the shadow work, the issues in my tissues that we all have, as one of my mentors and teachers taught me at Karma Teachers, where I did 200 hours of training in yoga there and stuff, right? So it became, wait a minute, knowing yourself. The Comedics talk about it. It is a lifelong journey, as we said earlier. You don't just clean your house once and it's like, voila, I can just go live life for the next 20 years, the next generation, and don't have to clean anything. No, you'll be full of a lot of SHIT all up in your wazoos and what's not. Right? So it is a daily showing up. It is a daily, I have defined it now into becoming, it's creating your own mythology out of the spirituality of your daily functioning practice, right? So it's creating a mythology out of something that functions for you. And what may function for you, Adara, may not always function for me. I may have to tweak it a bit, and then I'm like, that's my combination. Right? And so for me, I had to leave what I was introduced in and said, find my own way. And so my grandmother, my mother's side is Roman Catholic. My mother is still Roman Catholic. My father is neither. I went through Christianity into the Pentecostal type and interdenominational type, and then I left that. And so some folks who might think, oh, this brother is lost. Great for them. Namaste, I respect you where you are, but I am as enlightened as they come for me. I am as grounded as they come for me. And when you get to know yourself, which is always through the breath, because it starts with the breath and it ends with the breath. You start with the breath, you're born. Breath stops, you're dead. Schooling is done. Class is out. Until, food for thought, maybe another lifetime you come back to get finishing up what you didn't deal with in a previous life. A lot of times we don't want to explore that because sometimes we think it's about judgment and it's about punishment. And I take the vantage point of, no, it's about growing up. It's about finally saying, you know what? Things I did as a child, I'm putting away because I'm bigger now. I'm better now in my sister body, in my brother body. And that's work, but that's breath work. That is taking time to go within. Some days it will involve very rigorous stretching and moving and all sorts of stuff, right? Other days it will be a bit more belabored and more lengthy and languished and like a cat stretching, so not as intense, right? Very Tai Chi feeling in terms of your stretching, physical. Other days it will be more restorative, which is just you lay still in your bed or lay still in a hammock or sit cross-legged or in your comfy couch and burn some nice incense and music is playing and you get a few comfy pillows or blankets and you just allow yourself to be restored. And you may cry and you may breathe a bit deeper and you may finally be ready to face an issue or two or three in your life that you've been avoiding for so long because it's been so difficult. Whatever it is from A to Z, I'm not going to label anything today and trigger anybody more than they need to be, right? But when you're ready to do that work and show up, you lose friends, you lose family members for a season, if not the rest of your lifetime, because they're not ready to do the same thing. And then your choice has to be becoming about, do I do what people say is best for me, which is not their life? Or do I do what's best for me and respectfully say to them, I bless you, I bless you, I respect your opinion on my life, but that's your opinion, it's not my truth that I'm currently embodying and living out. And if it does change, I'll let you know, right? But knowing yourself. And so I came out of all of that, and the process was just showing up daily, was creating discipline and having really in focused, intentional breathing, whereby I would show up in my life daily to say, who am I? What am I here for? What is it about? Which in the yoga perspective is what they refer to as your dharma, right? What's my passion? What's the purpose? What am I? Listen, I love acting. I love singing. I love movement or dance. I'm a storyteller, really. I'm a storyteller who heals. That's what it is. I've broken it down to that, right? That I'm a storyteller who heals, and I do it through singing, I do it through acting, I do it through poetry, I do it through stillness, I do it through the movement and the stretching of the physical yoga, which keeps the spine more straight and limber and strong and gets the internal organs all nice and wrung out to get rid of the toxins and the poisons. I'm an herbalist in terms of using natural herbs that I've learned from my grandmother, who's 95, on my mother's side, and other elders who have passed on, and stuff that I've learned through my training with Ayurveda, Yoga Veda, teaching for nutrition. But all of that, if you throw it out, folks are like, that's a lot. Yeah, but it took me a while to get here. So to simplify it, it starts with the breath, it ends with the breath. Your ability to just inhale, hold the breath, and then exhale. Again, just to inhale, holding the breath, creating the awareness within and without, and then releasing it.
Okay, so you brought up, go ahead.
I'm listening. Go ahead. No.
Oh,
I'm just being me. You interject anytime.
Okay, I just
love
you. Okay, so two things here. One is this is how you're obviously helping other people get to know themselves. You're guiding them along this self-awareness process, right? And then I wanted to cut to how you spoke about religion and how you've sort of come out of that into sort of the yogic philosophy, which is really doing your own deep diving, making yourself accountable, responsible, where I felt like religion was like putting it all on somebody else or something outside of you has the power. And you're to sort of like this superiority thing like we were talking about earlier, that it's all in someone else's hands and you're sort of like the puppet that just has to play your role. Fuck that. We're saying,
right.
It's you that needs to take charge of your own self, know thyself. And to be able to do that, you must go within. And now I want to bring it to the point of this new paradigm that we feel like COVID and this whole thing that's happening in the world right now, this wake up
restart button, baby. Yep.
Is to take responsibility, is to grow up.
Finally, yes. Grow up to show up, or show up to grow up. Whichever way you want to look at the paradigm spectrum of the lens, it is, yes, this is an amazing time. right? We have just under 10 years, according to all the experts here around the world, that says if everybody shows up in their life and demands excellence, as in Wakanda Forever, baby, Black Panther, the movie embodied in certain ways, right? Then all of us as humanity, one humanity, not different races, but one humanity in varying shadings. If we begin to, as we talked about earlier, quickly investigating and questioning further in a loving way, but sometimes a straightforward, harsh way, because sometimes love is harsh and it's strong, but other times it's soft. But we still have to do the work and question, are our labelings correct? Are the ways we perceive things and the way we refer to each other and the way we allow our governments to run and allow our teachers to teach in any category and allow our hospitals to run and allow the way we parent ourselves or our children or allow the way we interrelate and connect with each other? Are these labelings and the ways we're doing things working? And if they're not, how do we fix them? And it shouldn't be taking months to do it. We have too much knowledge and too many people that already know what to do. And those who haven't known what to do, you could take what they have, try it on yourself, and it doesn't work in the doing, in the process of doing the work, you'll discover what works. But let's stop just, as we said earlier, just pursuing wealth, pursuing trying to be famous, or my couple of seconds of fame on these social media outlets, which is really crying out to say, love me and see me, but you don't need to be seen or be loved when you know how to love yourself first. Inadvertently, if no one else has loved you the way you think you need to be loved, doing the work and going within, you discover who you are. And you discover that, as in India Ari says in one of her songs, I am light, right? I'm not the color of my eyes. You know, I'm not the mistakes my family or my parents have made, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I am light. I am divinity personified. Right? And in doing that, you begin to really step back or step into, or however, step sideways or step through, whatever you want to define it, because that what makes sense. And you do the work to be loved without conditions. Yes? So then you begin to appreciate nature and beauty, which is not just the skin deep stuff, but the intrinsic intangibles that make us go, oh my gosh, nobody's watching, but you have an opportunity to help a neighbor who's going through something, and you don't go and blast it on social media and this is how much you donated or contributed or in helping this. You just do the work. You serve selflessly. And that's the power of love. That's the genius of love, in that when we begin to show up in our lives and do the work ourselves, somehow the forces that be, or as to use Christian terminology, the Spirit of God and the power. But really what it is that when we begin to get in tune with ourselves with the breath and begin to understand what a privilege it is to be human. We're not an animal. We've been given a bit more stuff to help navigate this, to be a better steward, to be a better host of the planet that we're visiting. And for so long, Adira, as we well know, we've mistreated it in every way from A to Z. And this reset button with the corona pandemic stuff, that is literally doing what? Attacking the respiratory system. It's attacking how we breathe. So it's challenging us to, in very, in other ways, it's challenging us to say, wait a minute, not only if you get this virus, can it physically kill me if I'm not strong enough in terms of my immune system and it's dysfunctional, but it's challenging. How do I breathe with the way I look at a woman as a man? How do I breathe as somebody in labeling white skin, looking at somebody in labeling black skin? How do I breathe in terms of how I deal with plastics? And that's not good for the environment. How do I breathe in terms of how I, as a government leader, is serving the people that have elected me into office? Or am I just continuing to play games? How do I breathe with, if indeed the 1%ers exist and is trying to maintain a status quo, how do I finally grow up in those sectors where you've had money for eons and without a second thought, and you finally say, in this lifetime, I'll make the difference within the next 10 years. I don't have to let people know, but I will show up to grow up in my life and make the difference so we can have these paradigm shifts that we need. If not, 10 years from now, kaput. Mother Earth is like, yo, I just give you a restart button. I will allow you all, if you don't listen, to kill yourselves off. And when you're dead, I'll start over. Because all I need is a little rain. I just need a little water, and life will start again without y'all suckers.
Totally.
That
You
was
know what?
just a little black.
No, but I'm such a macro micro thinker in all ways. And even when you're saying I can't breathe, it's like Mother Earth is saying that. That's her big message. Is she can't breathe. So you guys all need to
Yes.
slow down a minute, because in your own lives you're not breathing.
I'm still on the interview. Take a message. I'll call them after. Thanks.
I just find that if people could start looking within and
1 second. Hold on.
oh, that no
Hold
worries.
on, Nadira.
Okay, what am I gonna?
Sorry, people. This is what happens when you're live.
Okay, I love it. I also want to let everyone know, if you've noticed, Hector has a bit of like some sweat coming down. It's in because he's in Trinidad, Tobago right now, so it's hot over there.
Gosh, which oil is it now?
Not that he's not. Well, whether he's got his heat up, whatever. Not. I just wanted to let you know he's living the life over in the most beautiful island.
I'm in an interview, Jay. I'm so sorry. Call back in about, we have what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes left? How much time we got left, Adira?
We can be done. 5 minutes.
No, we don't have to be done. Just give me one. I'm so sorry, people. This is multitasking at its best-ish.
I'm trying to figure out what to do with you.
Again?
Oh, I can mute him. There we go. Okay. If you're resonating with any of this, you know, I would really just encourage you not only to reach out if Hector seems to be your guide, if you're really hearing what he's saying and really honoring his perspective. He has been so gracious to gift someone a private sort of one-to-one session with him. So if that's of interest to you, either leave a comment below or DM us. I'll also put his enjoybreathing.ca website below so that you can follow up with him on your own time. Sorry, but he's back. Okay. All right. Ask to unmute. How do I unmute you now? I had you muted. Now I have you. And now how do I ask to unmute? How does this work? Oh my gosh, how do I unmute you now? Oh Lord, this is horrible.
I just unmuted myself. Thank you.
Good job.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I just did a plug for you and your very
love plugs.
Gracious gift. Okay, so if I was just saying, if people want to work with you, you've got this amazing course coming out, which is the 14 modules on love, and that is sort
knowing
of
yourself. Yes.
Knowing yourself. Yes, beautiful. I think that's it. I think you know, the world was saying, hey, you guys talk a big game. You're talking like you want to, you know, all for love and peace, brother, and you know, all this equality, but I don't see you doing anything about it. Lots of lip service, peeps. So, you know, she kind of took it under her own reign and said, well, I'm giving you an opportunity here to really look at this stuff. And now it's what we
and it's really simple stuff. It's really, really simple stuff. Sorry. It starts with the breath, it ends with the breath. You don't have to have a big, luxurious backyard or front yard. You could be living, for lack of a better term, no offense, in a box of an apartment. And all you have the ability to do is to buy a $5 plant. And you water that plant daily. And heaven forbid, if you don't have that, even all you need to have is just the thought in your head. Get a pen and paper or pencil and sketch what you think a plant looks like. And look at that until you can get the real thing. Or look at that until you have the ability to go into nature and spend time in the place that we return to, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So the very thing is, which is why we're so warped. I didn't cuss. I saved it, right? Which is why, because the thing is, we give off carbon dioxide, which Mother Nature needs. The trees need it. And the trees give us oxygen, which we need to live. And yet still, we as stewards of the planet are dishonoring it for years, for a profit, at the expense of the mass. And all of us, right? By not doing the right things. And you're so right, Adira. Mother Nature said, okay, you've been tampering with things, and whether this disease was a man-made one or it came as a result of whatever configuration, you know what? It's going to attack the very thing that y'all have given up on, which is you're not honoring the planet that gives you oxygen to breathe. I'm going to allow something to be released from your own hands or whatever configuration to really challenge you to grow up.
Agreed. Yes, and make better
And
choices.
sometimes we lose loved ones. The death of George Floyd and so countless many other brothers and sisters that's labeled in black skin is really sad, especially in today's day, where you can see it the way we're seeing each other. To see a live lynching of someone with their hands in their pockets, that's what tugged at people's hearts. And what we want is to continue to have that tugging to say, wait a minute, anyone who's trying to rob you and I of our freedoms to just be free sovereign beings on the planet and want to own another, that at the crux is what the knee in the neck was. That's the energy that we want to eradicate and cut the neck off. So all of us as brothers and sisters in different skin tonalities and graying of beards and hair and stuff, right, can live the best life possible. Are all of us going to have the same money at our disposal? No. Are all of us going to have the same levels of education and meeting certain dignitaries in life? No. Some of us may never be known by a first name or a branding of whatever sorts. We may just be in a village somewhere or in a city somewhere, and all we do is take care of our children, and then we take care of our children's children, and then they at some point come to take care of us, and then the person passes and you never hear about them. There's no awards, there's no remembering them at the end of a specific award show because of their significant contributions to the planet. But that woman, that man that is nameless to a lot of us on the planet is known in the very atmosphere that we breathe, because he or she, they lived from a place of integrity and virtue, and they didn't do it for $1. They didn't do it to be known. They did it because it was the right thing to do. Insert the curse word in there, whichever one you'd like, right? And when we get men and women growing up in that way to show up in our lives daily by doing the work through the breath, through knowing yourself, through love without conditions, watch and see the genius unfold. See what, again, miracles happen because we start to become people about selfless actions, selfless service, karma. It's all about karma, baby. One aspect. There's other things, of course. But if nothing else, people remember, it's in the breath. Get into nature as much as you can. Ground yourself. Do something nice for somebody. Just pay somebody a compliment. Smile at somebody. They don't give you a smile back. That's okay. Let it be waters and the ducks back. You do you. Do what you know keeps you free and keeps you empowered and keeps you peaceful. Don't let nobody rob your joy or rob the smile, that internal smile on the inside that comes out, you know? That glow. No, it's yours. Decide how you want to share it. And anybody wants to mess with that, cut them off, cut them off. Anyways, that's my spiel. Love you, beautifuls. Mwah. Yeah, I'm palming you.
Okay, well, I leave you there with that. Don't go away. I'm going to just wrap up with you. But everyone, you've been Hectored. That is what has happened. And you have had the love bump. The bump was there, and it's there for you to grab and hold and take and run with it. And if you need any help at all, please reach out to him, and I will add his contact details below. Thank you, my friend, for being here. I regret that it's been so long since we spoke, but I feel like now is just the most perfect time.
That's right.
And
Thank you so much, Adira, for this opportunity. We continue to bless you in your endeavors. You're beautiful on the inside out. And again, I honor you and I salute you, sister. Namaste.
Namaste. I don't